Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Episode 10, Idiot's Array. The episode opens up in a cantina. Zeb is gambling, thinks he has a good hand in whatever game he's playing, he's out of credits, and decides to bet Chopper on his seemingly unbeatable hand. It turns out, Zeb is playing against Lando Calrissian. His face was covered and he was silent, but I had the feeling that this was going to be someone that we fans knew. The secrecy was just too heavy for it not to be, and then we hear him speak, instantly knowing it's Billy D. Williams, and then he pulls his cards from his face, and there he is. I thought this was a really cool character introduction. Did it have to be Lando? Maybe. At this point, I don't know what else happens in the episode, so I can't make that judgment yet. So, Lando is in need of a fast ship, and he hires the Ghost to get him past the Imperial blockade. I really disliked Lando's animation early in this episode. Compared to the other characters, his movements were just over the top, super exaggerated, too much hand movement. It just didn't seem to fit with the rest of the characters' animations, especially when you hear Billy D. Williams' smooth voice, calm and soothing, and then his character's animation just doesn't really fit with the voice. Almost like his character's animation was drunk. At least, that was my first impression. So, the crew plus Lando departs Lothal. Lando begins smooth talking the crew, getting friendly with Sabine, has Chopper waiting on him. As an audience member, you kind of know that Lando is a good guy, so the tension really isn't there for us. If this was a new character, we would not have known his motivations or intent. We wouldn't know if he is up to something nefarious or is kind-hearted. This could have been a great moment of confusion and tension for not only the crew, but for the audience. But it's cool so far to see Lando. So, Lando boards a trading vessel of some sort and bargains with a gluttonous, fat, disgusting alien, and he offers up Hera in return for the cargo. They take the cargo, and Hera stays back with a big fat slob, which is according to the plan, so Lando says. Hera beats up the fat alien and jets off in an escape pod towards the Ghost. What was in the cargo that Lando acquired was a creature, like a mix between a pufferfish and a pig. When it gets scared, it puffs up. And it does puff up, which blocks the cockpit from the rest of the crew. This moment was actually funny. You'd probably think I'd hate it, but I actually really liked it. It gave the crew a reason for banter, for smart-ass remarks. This goofy moment was great, not because of the puffer pig, but because of the characters' reactions to the puffer pig. So they approach the blockade, they get into a dogfight, and the Ghost escapes. They land, and the big fat gluttonous alien is waiting for them. They get into a gunfight, and we find out that Ezra's lightsaber isn't just a simple lightsaber, it's also a blaster. I don't really see the appeal. A blaster is a blaster, a lightsaber is a lightsaber. Why wouldn't every lightsaber be a blaster too? It would make sense if that technology is possible, but I guess I'll just have to see how it's put to use in future episodes. It's an interesting concept, but I could have done without it. So the crew escapes, and they leave Lando down there with his big pufferfish. It was cool to see Lando, and it was cool to get a little insight into what seems to be the start of his mining colony. This happens a lot in movies and shows, where a newly introduced character is almost pointlessly mysterious. All of the crew's suspension and questions could have been put to ease and answered if Lando would have just told the crew his plan in the first place. Sure, they were completely selfish plans, but at least they would have had an idea as to what's going on instead of being completely in the dark. So many movies and shows do this, and I understand it from a storytelling aspect, but it's just kind of weird, and no person in real life would really do that. If I was in one of these scenarios, I'd immediately tell the strangers what I was trying to do, because it doesn't make sense to keep them in the dark. They can help you, they can at least know what you're doing while you're doing it. I might get some flack for this, but I kind of felt like this was a pointless episode. We saw R2-D2 and C-3PO earlier in the season, and now we see Lando. Are we just gonna keep having little one-episode cameos from iconic characters? Because if so, I can definitely do without it. Yes, it was fun to see Lando. Yes, he had some great lines, some really neat moments, but this episode didn't really hit me like the other ones have. It felt out of place. Let me know what you guys thought of this one in the comment section below. I'm really curious what you have to say about episode 10, Idiot's Array. Anyway, thanks for watching my Star Wars Rebels review series. On to the next episode. Hello Greedo, out.
Always with you, it cannot be done.
It's like